the Grammys are about to go down. And in the Album of the Year category, which I consider to be the most prestigious award, Beyonce has a chance at finally being awarded Album of the Year with Cowboy Carter. She's been nominated a few times, but has yet to actually win the award, which is a little bit crazy when you think about how consistently each of her albums are not only commercially successful, but also critically acclaimed. Like if you look at Lemonade, which was her 6th album, if you look at her 5th album, which was her self-titled album, both excellent albums, both did not win Album of the Year. Even Sasha Fierce, even her most recent album, Renaissance, which was like high up on a lot of best albums of the year lists, it was nominated for Album of the Year, but again, it didn't win. Even her earliest stuff like Dangerously in Love or her 4th album, 4, those were really good albums. Again, commercially successful. Each of Beyonce's 8 albums have hit #1 on the Billboard chart. And she obviously has several, top 4, top 5, #1 singles throughout her discography. And let's keep it real. A lot of great artists have never won Album of the Year. Like even the Beatles only won once with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Led Zeppelin never won an Album of the Year. I mean, most artists never win Album of the Year. Great artists, good artists, like most never win it. But if you look at Beyonce's reputation and just look at her consistently high quality output, and then you factor in, the politics of the Grammys. I mean, they're not just randomly, selecting and nominating just random artists, even though, you've had surprises over the years. And like, if you look at the list of nominees this year, you've got, very popular artists like Billie Eilish, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, but then you also have Jacob Collier, who is not nearly as famous as those others, even though he's got the reputation of, he was a child prodigy. His mother was like a composer. And I mean, this is like the 2nd time Jacob Collier's been nominated for Album of the Year. So he's one of those artists who's not super duper famous, but obviously has the respect of the voting members of the Recording Academy. Same thing with Jon Batiste, who actually won it a couple of years ago with We Are. So yeah, there are way less famous artists than Beyonce who've won the award, and there are super famous artists that never won the award. And I really thought that when she dropped Renaissance and then, she kind of had a moment, like it was a super popular album throughout the year. It had singles that were nominated for like Record of the Year, Song of the Year, like Break My Soul. I mean, Beyonce had a phenomenal year with Renaissance. So I actually thought that would be the time that she finally wins Album of the Year. But again, she didn't get it. So here she comes right back with Cowboy Carter. Really long album. I don't know if it's better than Renaissance, but if it's not, it's right up there. I mean, there's a lot of good material throughout Cowboy Carter. I mean, it's a very long album, so you've got a lot of good material. Then you've got a little bit of, I wouldn't quite call it filler, just stuff that isn't as good as other material on the album, but she gives you a little bit of everything. It's not like a straight up country album, even though that was kind of, the hype around it. I would say it was, multi-genre, but it was country adjacent, but it had so much good material on it. And if you look at, again, this list of nominees, the competition is, it's pretty stiff. I mean, Charlie XCX had an outstanding year with that Brat album. Sabrina Carpenter's up for all 4 major categories because she's also a Best New Artist nominee. Same thing with Chappell Roan. You've got very good artists that are nominated here. I mean, Billie Eilish, whenever she's nominated for something, she's got a good chance at winning it. But will this be the time that Beyonce finally wins Album of the Year? Like, I remember Jay-Z took to the podium late in the last Grammys when Beyonce didn't win it with Renaissance, and he kind of gave his 2 cents about, how the Recording Academy and how outstanding art and artists need to be recognized, and how it's kind of a shame that you have a lot of instances where it's not recognized in the way that it should be. It was kind of a tongue-in-cheek statement, but he was basically, as I interpreted it, he was riding for B in the wake of her not winning it again with Renaissance. But I think that this might be the time that she finally wins it with Cowboy Carter. Let me know if you think that she's going to get it. Again, it's a lot of really good nominees here. I mean, Andre 3000 is also nominated, which was not expected, being that it was like a new age ambient jazz album. But yeah, Beyonce, with all the accolades that she's had throughout the years. I mean, her tremendous like tours, her, Super Bowl performance. I mean, her Coachella headliner, the homecoming Coachella headliner. I mean, that was like the title of the DVD that she released with the live Coachella performance. But she just has so many moments throughout the year. She's, her and Taylor Swift are arguably like the 2 biggest artists of like the last, 20 years. For Taylor Swift, it's more like 15 years. But Beyonce, I mean, she had her whole Destiny's Child career before for her solo career, and she's dropped 8 solo albums. So yeah, Beyonce's been on top for a long time. And again, no album of the year. That could change this year. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.